Barry White quotes, "Disco deserves a better name, a better name that was beautiful. It was an art form that just somehow made things beautiful. It made everything beautiful. It made the consumer beautiful. It made the consumer a star." Barry White, one of the greatest singers, songwriters, producers, composers, arrangers, stylists, instrumentalists, a distinctive sound, distinctive wave. There was no shame in him talking about disco music. He embraced it. Now, there are people who call him champagne soul, and some people try to say that, water how he was. But you can't take away the strings and the talent. He was one of the few people that I ever saw go on Soul Train and play live. And he was one of the few people that I remember the Don Cornelius held up in high regard because Barry was an intriguing, he called the maestro, given different names. The thing about his music is that, he really had a swing about him. He had a soul about him. It was a haunting tone, but it was street, but it had incredible appeal. And he was very quotacious man. I made that term quotacious, but he very quotacious man. You know, of anybody I watch as far as interviews go on TV, he's one of the few that I would watch over and over and over again. Why? Because he didn't fake the funk. You didn't sense that he was putting games. You had the sense that he meant what he said. He talked about how corrupt it was, and he talked about different things going on. He was not afraid to speak out about it. And so I always, enjoyed what he had to say. Um, I took that to meaning something. I thought, yeah, this guy really had a distinctive way of putting it there where you couldn't even dispute it. You could try, but you look bad trying to dispute what he had to say because he really was just spot on about so much of the industry then and the now. So, um, but disco got maligned. They had Disco Demolition Night back in '79. You imagine that a country would promote something that was a $1 billion industry that was successful, but the hate was so extreme that they allowed that on a baseball game to cancel the second game, that the Red Sox owner would allow that on his field, Demolition Night. That's hate. That's spite. And it just shows you, wasn't that long ago? So, it's one of those extremes, but he embraced it. He embraced it. Because the bottom line is music is music. You let idiots and bigots tell you to put typecasts on this and all that. And I said that because the industry is big and real with that because the music is music. Okay? And the bottom line is if you can play, you can play. You can sing, you can sing, you can rap, you can rap. You do what you do. But at the end of the day, it's music. But they find ways to compartmentalize and divide and, give it all kinds of sort of names. So by the time you get back to what it was, you forgot what it was. So, um, it's just one of those things where it just really um, extremes. But I do appreciate what he had to say, and he's somebody that I definitely admire and looked up to. And he was one of one. There was no one else like Barry White. Enjoyed what he had to say. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Share it if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free, stay true. And I like disco music. I still do. Because, it had its place. It's of art form. The rhythms, the grooves. You could dance to it, roller skate to it. So, I ain't got no problem with it. But, that shows you a dark chapter, which wasn't that long ago. But I'm out. Peace.